Hi, and welcome to the Momversation Club. I'm Christina Struckmeyer.
And I'm Claire Strong. We're two mums just like you, navigating the nitty-grittiness of motherhood, taking you along with us as we talk about all the topics that nobody talks about.
And today we're talking about Thanksgiving and all the things that we are grateful for in this season of motherhood. And now a quick break in the Momversation to bring you a word from today's sponsor. If you're wondering what to do with your kiddos in San Diego, we have to tell you about this amazing guide we found. San Diego's Out and About with Kids.
Yes, it's literally a lifesaver. Whether you're a local San Diegan or visiting, it's packed with the very best family-friendly spots all over San Diego County. And the best part? It's created by local parents like us.
We're talking ice cream spots, restaurants, playgrounds, and local tips from parents who have actually been there. It even highlights accessible spots for families with special needs, which we love.
So if you want to make the most of San Diego with your kids, this is a must-have. Seriously, this is a destination game changer. Click the link in our show notes or visit sandiegofamily.com to plan your next family adventure. Hi, Christina.
Hey, Claire. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's going on with you?
Oh, just we're in the busiest season of our lives right now.
Tell me about that.
Well, I just feel like, in general, mothers around this time of year, we're all kind of scatterbrained, walking around, trying to get everyone's plans together and school breaks and, who's going where and where we're going to have dinner and blah, blah, blah. And then as a farm wife, we're coming to the end of our harvest season. And it's like, finally, I feel like I breathe like, harvest season's over. And then inhale Christmas.
Oh my God. So it's doubly chaotic for you just because of the time of year for the farm as well.
It is. And I'm grateful, speaking of the episode topic of today, I'm grateful for a harvest and for us to have this land and be able to live this life on the farm. But it's a little chaotic this time of year.
But isn't Thanksgiving, so it's kind of tied to farming in a way, isn't it, Thanksgiving? Because it's, celebrating and being thankful for the harvest and all of that. So you're kind of living the Thanksgiving theme, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Exactly. Like on point, on brand.
Yeah, you're on brand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, so here's the thing. Thanksgiving is obviously not a thing in England. So this will be my 7th Thanksgiving in the US.
I was just going to say, it might be a nuanced holiday for you.
It is nuanced. However, I have embraced it. I do kind of like it because it's a little bit like our Christmas, just without the gifts. So we do... Christmas, we do the turkey, we do all the family gathering together. And so I've adopted it as kind of like a Christmas day for me because that's how it feels. But I do like the idea behind Thanksgiving. I like the concept of, gathering together with people that you care about, family. And I really like the idea that you take a step back and think about the things that you are thankful for. So I do like that concept. I really do. So this is actually a non-UK holiday that I am embracing. And I actually really like Thanksgiving.
I like it too. It's a good reflection time too. I think there's a little mini reflection for Thanksgiving, and then New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, I guess, serves as that greater reflection of the year. And it's nice to be focusing in on what we are grateful for, because sometimes you can focus on the negative during the year. And it kind of forces us to go, okay, like, what is actually going well? What are some things I'm really happy with? And so I thought, we both thought it would be great to kind of just share a few things that we're grateful for in this season, and specifically in the season of motherhood, and the things that are really, speaking to our hearts right now. Who wants to start? Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Well, I want to start by saying this. I think as mums, certainly I am guilty of this, so I'll hold my hands up. I own this. Although I would categorize myself as a naturally positive person and a glass half full person as opposed to a glass half empty person, that said, motherhood and just being a woman in general, frankly, can be really hard work, and being a mum can be so thankless a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to, think about what's going on in your day and just see the negatives, like, oh my God, I've got this to do. I didn't do that well. This person needs this and I'm behind with this. And it's very easy to overlook the positives that are going on, and the wins that you are scoring during the day. You just don't see it because, I guess, the negatives, or the pressures and the workload can just be a little too much. So with all of that being said, I am loving today's episode because it is a reminder that not everything's as bad as it seems. And even if things are chaotic and you're overwhelmed and all of that, there are still things. If you take a step back, there are things to be thankful for. And I know this is a bit of a broad one, but I am really thankful for my girls. I mean, they test me, they challenge me. I have 2 teenagers now. So sometimes they're not the easiest. It's kind of like going back to toddler stage, but with more attitude, and they're bigger. Um, but I'm really thankful for them. I love that I have 2 girls. It's not to say I wouldn't have loved 2 boys, but I've only ever known having 2 girls. And because the 3 of us were on our own for quite a while as a single parent unit, we're very, very close, and I'm thankful every day for that and the bond that I have with them. And even though it can be strained at times, because things aren't perfect every day and issues come up, and I don't always handle things well, they don't always handle things well, so we're kind of learning together. But I am really thankful for them, because the other thing is, I know that they always have my back. I hope they know that about me towards them too. But they do, they show me so much loyalty and so much love, and they tell me every day how much they love me and how amazing I am, which is lovely to hear, because I don't think I ever said that to my mum, especially not at their ages. So I'm thankful for the appreciation that they show me, even though some days are not the easiest.
I love that. Well, I mean, being grateful for your children is like definitely a given, but I love the way you describe that thankfulness. And I love that your girls share that information with you, because you're right. I don't
Yeah.
recall often, at least,
Yeah.
sharing that being like you're being seen by them.
Yes, which I
And
really appreciate, and I think that's kind of mature beyond the years, because I was just focusing on me when I was their ages. I couldn't have cared less, whether my mum had a bad day or not. It was all about me, and I do feel that they're emotionally more intelligent than I was at that age, for sure. And my eldest said to me just yesterday, she told me how much she loved me. She's like, "Oh, mommy," she says, "I'm sorry. I tell you it far too much. I've already told you it so many times today." And I said, "No, you don't need to say sorry. That's a really lovely thing that you're doing. I appreciate it." So I'm thankful that they let me know that I'm appreciated.
yeah, well, there's
How
no
about
limit to I love yous. I'll take all the I love yous, all the
I
kisses, all the hugs,
know.
all of
Me
it.
too. Me too.
Ah,
What's the first thing that you're thankful for, specifically as it relates to motherhood? Because this is, why we're
yes.
here, why this podcast exists, to support each other through this crazy ride. So what's the thing that springs to mind when you think about being a mom, and what you're thankful for?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it actually came up this week. I had a week where I was, navigating so much chaos. It's like I'm cleaning up potty messes and car seat spills and like trying to get to school pickup on time and get back and homework and all
Mm.
the things and activities. And I just felt so worn down. I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, I've worn this shirt for 2 days. There's peanut butter and jelly here. I used it as a snot rag there. Like, I'm a mess. But I'm thankful for perspective, because
Mm.
I'm a mom that has kids that are sparse in age, like they're one's, almost 10, one's a toddler who's 2. I remember how quickly these years pass by, even though during the day it does not seem quick at all. It feels like you are walking through quicksand and sludge, and you are just trying to make it one nap time to one bedtime to the next time you
Yes,
have to
I
do that
remember that.
again.
Hmm.
Oh my God. But like the perspective of this is how it is right now, but it won't
Hmm.
be like this forever. This is a season where we're just going to embrace the chaos. It's going to be okay if I wear a mom bun and I'm covered in sticky stuff and puffs, and I won't be like this in 3 years. Like in 3 years, my toddler will be in school, and it will be a different version of me that'll be existing, and that motherhood will be challenging in its own way, but
Yeah.
it won't be this. And so I think having that perspective has been really good for my mental health, because when I was raising my first child, I didn't have that perspective. It felt like everything was going to be this difficult always. And
Yes.
like you've mentioned, it doesn't get easier, but it won't be
It's
this.
different. It won't be this. And I remember, my eldest used to want to sleep with me all the time. In fact, both girls did. And and I sometimes it was a bit of an imposition, because then I couldn't get a very good night's sleep if I've got them both in the bed with me and they're wriggling around and all of that. And I remember my mum saying, actually, she said to me, Claire, they're not going to be wanting, to sleep with you when they're 18 or when they're 21. And so this isn't a forever thing. And you'll probably actually miss those days when they did want to sleep with you. So again, I think it's perspective. And I think, yeah, just be thankful for things. And this is a difficult thing to do. It's easier said than done. Be thankful for where you're at now.
Yeah.
And I think the tendency for me, at least, is to be looking ahead all the time. Like, this is not where I need to be moving forward. I can't stay like this forever. This is not, I'm not doing enough here. I need to be better there. And I find it very difficult to just calm my mind and be present in that moment and be thankful for that moment. So I need to work on that. So that's a
And
little project of mine.
And there are so many quotes that are out there that make mothers feel like, I think, guilty of like, oh, there's only 18 summers, they're going to be a child, or slow down and
Oh,
just soak in every moment. Not every moment is meant to be soaked in. There's some moments
no.
that we can just like leave on the floor there. But I think the perspective of this won't be forever is so helpful,
Mm,
because just like you weren't a teenager forever, and you weren't a dumb college kid forever, and you weren't a newlywed, just had a baby newborn forever, this too shall pass. And you
yes.
might as well just sit in it. Like, just be at this version of yourself and be at peace with it. And now a quick break in the Momversation to bring you a word from today's sponsor. The holidays are coming, and if you have a mama on your list, we can't recommend today's sponsor, Neems Jeans, enough.
Neems is a women-owned business offering custom denim jeans made precisely to your unique body measurements and delivered straight to your door.
And with the Neems box, you can gift the magic of custom-made jeans to your loved one without having to know their size or jean style preferences. Easier for you, personalized to them. It even comes in a cute box for wrapping.
Neems Jeans gives you the perfect fit every time, guaranteed, and offers inclusive sizing for everybody, which we love to see.
Visit neemsjeans.com and use code MOMVERSATION15 at checkout for 15% off your order. That's NEEMS jeans.com and code MOMVERSATION15 for a special savings.
Another thing I'm really thankful for, and this is not really related to the kids as such, but I guess in some ways, because I find it very, like therapeutic, but I'm really thankful for my friends, and particularly the ones that are all the way back home in England, because I'm so far away from them, but they pick up my call when I call them on WhatsApp, and it's generally like really late for them, because I will tend to call them when I'm on my school run or whatever, when I'm in the car. And if they can answer my call, they will answer it. And I'm so thankful for them, because I don't have a big network of people here in the States, in San Diego, where I am. I love living here. I think overall it was the right decision for my family to be here, and for the girls. They're having a great childhood in lots of ways. But all my friends are back home, and I am really, really thankful that I don't feel lonely because of them. And so, they just, I feel like they're here, even though I haven't seen either of them in 7 years. I speak to them on the phone, but virtually every day. And so I'm really thankful for that. And those connections, more broadly, I guess, I'm talking about connections with other women who get you, and these, my two best friends I'm talking about are moms as well. So they do get a lot about, my situation right now. They're either living through it or they've lived through it. And so I'm really thankful for those genuine Low maintenance as well, low maintenance friends, because I
Keyword.
can't deal. Oh God, I can't deal with high maintenance friends because I'm just going to disappoint them because I'm not the type of person who is going to immediately, unless the phone's right in front of me, I'm not going to immediately reply to your text. And it's not because I don't like it, it's because I've got 1,000 other things I'm doing and I am going to reply to you. So please don't take it personally. And so I need low maintenance friends in my life. And I'm really thankful for my best friends back home because they are just that. And honestly, Christina, our friendship, I'm thankful for that too, because you're one of those friends. You're one of those
Oh,
friends that, you're low maintenance, you give me grace, you see my strengths, and, you don't kind of harp on all the time about maybe areas that I fall short. So, yeah, I'm really thankful for low maintenance, supportive friends.
yeah, well, thank you for saying that. I feel the same way about you. And yeah, that was one of mine as well. Like, I well, definitely the long distance friends. I have a really good friend who lives in Texas, and she and I have done motherhood from the beginning together. She has a child that's a year
Yeah.
older than Stella, and then almost kindergartner coming in. And she's been through things. I've been through things. She has boys. I have girls. Like different perspectives, but having that like co-pilot in motherhood is really important,
Mm,
and having it be someone you can reach out to with a voice note or a phone call is equally as important, because sometimes when you're in
yeah.
those moments you just need someone to talk to. And she's met me where I'm at many many times,
Yeah.
but the thing that was on my list is I'm thankful for getting out of my own way when it comes to creating new friendships. At the beginning of this year, when we first talked
Oh, that's
about,
a good one.
yeah, getting out of my own way. So, in the beginning of the year, we talked about New Year's resolutions.
Mm,
And one of my New Year's resolutions that I shared with our
yeah.
audience is that I want to be more social. I want to have more friends here in this location, because I, like you, uprooted to be with my spouse, and not
Yeah.
nearly as far as you,
Mhm.
but, but I did. And when I came here, we had his friends.
Yes.
Yeah, it was his friends, and then the wives of his friends, who are lovely. I love a lot of those wives. But I wanted to make my own support network, my own friends. And that was deeply uncomfortable for me,
Mhm.
because it meant that I needed to step out of my own comfort zone and kind of jump into the pool, even though nobody else was doing that at the time. So that looked like going to story time and like being open to conversation, but not just like waiting for someone to come to me, like starting a
Mm,
conversation with someone next to me. And
mm.
cultivating that enough so that I could transition that to a park date, and then maybe an actual friend, and like kind of get that going. Um, and friendships like that don't just happen. Like you can't just show up to the mommy and me or the story time or the swim lessons and stay in your corner. If you want to make friends, you have to go, hey, you, I like your shirt, or your daughter's so cute. How old is she? Or any conversation starter, and get the ball rolling, because people don't just come up to people and become best friends. You have to cultivate that.
That's right. And I say to the girls, actually, don't wait for someone to break the ice. You be the icebreaker, even if it's uncomfortable for you. Push yourself and be the icebreaker, because, the other person is quite often thinking the same thing. Oh, I'd like to chat with her, but I don't know what to say. I'm feeling a bit shy and uncomfortable. Hopefully, she'll talk to me. So that's my advice to my girls. Always be the icebreaker, even if it's uncomfortable. Pay them a compliment, say something to get the conversation started, because 9 times out of 10 that person is really happy that you made the effort. They actually want to speak to you too, but you can't
Yeah.
both be shy and uncomfortable, otherwise no one's ever going to get anywhere with friendship. So be the person, be the icebreaker.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that you'll know if someone doesn't want to talk to you. Like I have
Yeah. Yeah.
unsuccessfully. I will say my perseverance probably comes from my time as a salesperson, but I kind of put my fishing line out to all the different moms here and there, and some bite and some don't.
Yeah.
Some don't want to talk to me, and they're like, "No, thank you. I'm just here so my kid can make friends. I have no interest in you." Whereas other moms, like you said, are just waiting to be like, "Yes, me." And I've created one of my good friends. Her name's Katie, and we met at story time. and our kids are similar age. And I think I made like a sarcastic comment about the book we were reading at the time and how damn long it was, and the attention span doesn't match for our children. And we started slowly chit chatting at story time, and then it led to a park date, and it was like, why don't you come over for coffee? And now every Thursday I go over to our house and we have coffee and let our kids play, and it's like a standing hangout, and it's been a
Oh,
lifeline for me.
nice. Yes. And actually, one of the good friends that I was referring to earlier who live in the UK that I speak to virtually every day, we met in a similar circumstance. We were at, the toddler time or whatever in the UK. We've got kids of the same age, and we just made friends, and we've been best friends ever since. And that's 16 years, 15 years later. So
Yeah,
and the other thing is, it's a numbers game a little bit. You mentioned sales. Well,
totally.
yeah, finding friends, finding the right. Here's the thing: you don't just want any friends. You don't need quantity, you need quality. So it doesn't matter if you don't have like 10 people that you can call up in your network, that's okay. Just try and aim to have one or a couple of people that maybe those people that you can fairly regularly meet up with and do stuff with your kids or whatever, or even without the kids, if the kids are in daycare or they're at school, someone that you could go and get a coffee with if you feel like that's what you want to do. So yeah, I love that for you. I'm so glad that you set yourself that task, that challenge, and you put yourself out there. And it sounds like you've got a really nice friend out of that.
Yeah, yeah, and I've done it with a couple. So I would say I've cultivated over the last 2 years or so a handful of friends that I can say I like to hang out with them. Like I would love to get coffee or dinner or just hang out with them at their house. And that wasn't the case when I first moved here. And that's alongside my husband's friends who have families, and I get along with their wives. So we had a birthday party recently, and I looked around and I went, well, shit, we have a lot of people in our lives. And so I didn't realize how many we had cultivated. So what about you? What do you have anything else on your list of gratefulness?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to obviously I mentioned friends and my girls and my family. I mean, my mum and dad. I'm thankful that they are able to. Well, this is a big one actually. This is not a minor thing. I'm thankful that my mum and dad and other family members are able to come and visit us here in California, particularly my parents, because that enables the relationship with the girls to continue because they're very close to my parents. And so I'm very thankful that they are, touch wood, well enough and are able to come and see us at least twice a year and stay for 6 weeks at a time. That really does make so much of a difference to the
Yeah, I'll
girls and I
bet.
particularly. I like the, just having the moral support, the practical support, the girls love having their grandparents here. And so I'm very thankful for that. And actually this year, was kind of unheard of because I had my mum and dad. They were out in the summer. They brought with them my two young nephews who are 7 and 9.
Yeah.
And so we had my mum and dad, my nephews. They came for 3 weeks, and then my brother just unexpectedly walked through my front door. He didn't tell any of us he was coming. He just got a standby flight from London Heathrow and flew to San Diego and walked through my front door. So I'd got literally my brother, my nephews, and my parents with us for, it was only, my brother was only here about 5 days, but for that length of time anyway, I had like my nearest family with me. So I was very thankful for that. So
Ah,
yeah, I'm thankful that my family are able to come and see us, because for us to get back there and to get back there with any frequency is kind of a massive undertaking. There's, at least 3 of us would be going back, probably 4 if you include my husband. And then we have the dogs here. So then someone's got to look after the whole thing just becomes a little, it's not as easy.
impossible.
It kind of is. And so I'm just really thankful that people from back home are able to come here, particularly my parents. So have you
Yeah,
got
I'm
anything else?
well, I was just gonna comment on that is that when
Mm.
you have a family who you're close to and who's supportive of you and that you love very much, as a mom, like having that environment around you kind of refuels you in a way.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I feel like
Yeah.
it allows you to kind of fill up your tank and then carry that into your family.
Yes, it does. And I'm always so upset when they go because for it takes me a good few days to reacclimatize to my situation. And although, I'm married, I do have my husband. He's a busy guy. He's a lawyer. He has a sensible job. I'm the unsensible one. But that means that he does regularly works 12-hour days. He's very often on the road or abroad or wherever. And so just having my parents here for that moral support and that practical support means a lot. And they're telling me that I'm doing a good job, and I'm hearing stuff that is nice. And then when they leave, I really struggle for a few days because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm totally on my own again. I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't have anyone here. It takes me a few days to get out of that funk.
Yeah, I hear that. Definitely. Well, on a lighter note, obviously I could go on and on about all the things I'm thankful for, which include my family that I am close with, and my husband who's amazing and like such a co-parent in,
Yeah.
in in my in my unit here. Like he's not
Mhm.
just dad and husband; he's like the dad. Like he's such a good father. Like ladies, marry a man who doesn't just want to have a child. Make sure he wants to be a dad because it is a different thing. um,
Yes, it is. Oh my God. Amen to that. Yes,
yeah, yeah.
100%.
But on a lighter note, I'm thankful to be a mom in a time where we're okay not being okay. I'm
Mm,
thankful to be in a time where we talk about mental health. Things are a lot more open.
yeah.
We have access to things that help us, like therapy online and remote stuff and support groups,
Mhm.
and also just to be alive in a time where oversized shirts and stretchy shorts are in fashion, where drawstring pants exist. Like, what a
Yeah,
time to
I
be
agree with
alive.
you. Well, you've touched upon something really important there. You're right. Even obviously for mothers, this is really important for us. But I'm seeing it even with my girls and their ages. Mental health, it's not a taboo anymore. It's
No.
very open. It's very out there. I love that. I mean, all the mum influencers. I mean, we follow a lot of them on the podcast. We're actually, we partner with some of them, and so all of us in that space, we are normalizing things that in prior generations were seen as negatives, were seen as taboos. And if you think, I mean, if you look at any of the mum influencers, if I can use that term, they are all normalizing, having bad days, stuff that irritates them, stuff that they're not good at. But so it makes us feel that we're not total failures because, oh, look, they do that too. It's that feeling of not being on your own and not being, a failure because it's this community that we're kind of building, a virtual community, I guess, particularly on social media. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's at least, I wouldn't say that life has got any easier. I'd say in lots of ways it's got harder, but at least we can take that comfort that a lot of the problems and struggles that women and mums cope with, it doesn't have to be behind closed doors anymore. And we can reach out and get help. It's okay to get help. The stigma has slowly but surely been kind of chipped away at. And so I love that mental health is so freely discussed now, whether it's on social media, whether
Yeah.
it's, on TV, whether it's, I hear people in the dog park, prime example. Oh, and these are guys, by the way. There's a group of guys that meet with their dogs every evening at the dog park. And I'm earwigging on their conversation. I want to know what the guys are talking about. But I hear them talking about mental health and they're talking about therapists. And I mean, that would have been unheard of 10 years ago. I
Yeah.
don't know, even in the UK, I don't know how. I mean, I can only talk now from my experience living here in California. I don't know whether, it's as openly discussed in public in face-to-face situations in other parts of the US or in the UK or in Europe. I can't speak to that. But I'm telling you, I overhear conversations between guys, for goodness sake, and they are talking about therapists and stuff that's just they had no issue talking about that. There was no they weren't laughing about it. It's like, oh, the therapist. They were having, just a general conversation about what they'd been discussing with a therapist. I was like, wow,
Well,
society has come a long way.
and if we could get everyone on that same page of being open and honest about their feelings, because there is some people that are still holding back from that. I think
Yeah.
for me, it goes to, I've heard my family talk about like, oh, so and so was a strong matriarch. She always had dinner on the table. She always held down. She never complained. Well, she had feelings too. Like the woman they're talking
Mm.
about had feelings, but she was trained to push them down to
Yes.
support the things that she had to do. She couldn't
Mhm.
exist as a flawed human being who had feelings and emotions as well as a good mother. Those things didn't mix. And that's
Yeah.
how it was for a really long time. And to get
Mhm.
back to your point about the girls, you talked about how the girls, know you and they're able to
Yeah.
see you. That's
Yes.
because we have lifted a veil as a society. We're starting to get to this place of sharing a full version of someone. We're not just
Yeah.
caricatures of like what we're supposed to be doing. We're full and complete people that have a lot of nuance.
Well, for a long time, I thought that I needed to be this perfect example to the girls. And obviously, I strive to be a really good example for my girls. But, if when I was going through my divorce, I would never let them see me cry. That was something I was really, really strict on. Do not let them see me fall apart, cry. It's going to be upsetting for them. It's going to, cause them angst in some way. And so, I for a long time carried that, and I'll tell you, it's a weight, it's a burden when you feel that you have to conform to be this ultra strong, perfect individual that never breaks in front of your kids, because that's not real life. And although I'm not saying that I regularly have like daily meltdowns. Well, I
No, but
mean,
you're
maybe not
you're
daily.
more open about your feelings.
I'm it's not as, if I have been upset, it's not as big of a deal. Before I would have, said, oh, it's okay, I just have allergies. I would have covered that up because I thought that showed me as a weak person, and I didn't want to display that in front of the girls. And so I'm thankful for that too, because I now
Yeah.
don't need to pretend to be someone I'm not. I want to show the best side of me to my kids, of course I do, but then they know that life's hard, and they know that it's not achievable to be perfect 100% of the time.
No, and mothers are so complex. Like that's the thing is for so long we had this vision of what a mother should be. And the reality
Mhm.
is we're so many things. We have our own
Yeah.
ambitions and struggles, and we could be smart and sexy and also hardworking. Like there's so many things that coexist. And I think for a really long time we were just moms. Like we were just moms, and that's who we were, and that's our identity, and that's all there is. And then in my mom's generation, there was a lot of push to sacrifice. So I got a lot of messaging of, I gave up this, this, and this for you. And
Yeah.
now as an adult mom, I'm like, I wish you hadn't. I wish you would have done things for you so that you could have brought a more complete person to the table and have had more patience and more, emotional capacity for your children. Because when you're fulfilled as a mother and you're seen in your current state, like you pour back into your kids better. And
Yeah.
so I'm
True.
thankful for this time of motherhood. Like there's a revolution to come in. Women in general aren't just seeking into the shadows and being quiet. Like we're saying, hey, these are the things that matter to us and this is why they're important.
I love that, and I'd love to hear from our audience. What are you thankful for in this time in your life? Obviously, we're all navigating motherhood together. We may be at different stages, but what are you thankful for? What fills your cup? I'd love to hear from you.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Momversation Club.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, which we really hope you have, then please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave us a review. Your support helps us to reach even more mums and build a stronger village.
Until next time, bye.